Inside the backpack. Inside the backpack is an attempt to unpack true life experiences. Experiences that as we grow up, as we reach an age called youth, we experience experiences that are unique to that age. I remember going to school in the village. They call it primary school then. Going to school was more of a rite of passage than any meaningful thing you would think about. Going to school was about growing up, more about growing up. We would want to grow up. Nobody would really push you to go to school. Fortunately, the school was not very far away. Although we would run to school in the morning and then in the afternoon run back home for lunch. I remember some days when it was raining, I would put off my shirt inside the classroom, put it there because I didn't want it to get wet. Then I would run all the way home, bare-chested, take whatever there is at home, and then run back to school. Then getting into the class, I would now put on the warm shirt. Those were experiences that we had then. But I remember during that time, there were times when we would have football matches. And you see, students came from different areas. I came from one area and some other students came from another area. And depending on the area you came from, we would form teams from those areas. Now I remember this would grow to be very, very competitive. Rivalry grew up from there. I remember one day we had a match in school. It was a wonderful match. And I remember we lost the match. But because we lost the match, our egos, even at that young age, could not allow us. We complained about the officiating. And when the man who had officiated did not hear our complaints, you know what we did? We said, okay, let's teach these people a lesson. So immediately after the match, we went back to class. Remember, it was a match that was in school. Went back to class, took our things. That time we used to put our exercise books in those polythenes that used to come with the bread, you know. When bread is eaten, that polythene, you would put your exercise book there. It was just one exercise book and a pencil. So we ran to the junction. There was a junction that went to the other side, and the other side was towards our place. And we put an ambush there. And I remember there was an ambush. We ambushed the boys. And there was a fight. We were fighting each other. Every weapon you could get. And then when the war is too much, we would run home. I remember we ran home that day, not knowing that one of the boys had been properly injured. So we didn't know what to do. We waited for the next day. And when we got to school, word had reached our headmaster. We used to call them headmasters that time. And our headmasters was a dreaded man. And we knew our goose was cooked. And he called us and he talked to us. And I know you know what happened. We received strokes of the cane. All of us. It didn't matter who did what. And the rivalry became even more worse. Now, why am I telling this story? Because as we were growing up, these things made us to understand and to be able to take care of yourself. Because when these fights were done, a point reached where you needed to know when you are losing or when you are winning. If you take too much time in the battle, you would be left alone in the battle. When people found that it was too much, everybody would take a different route. And suddenly you'll be left on your own. And woe and behold, if you are left on your own, you would be thrashed properly. We learned to take care of ourselves. Remember, that was in class 3, class 4. And we could take care of ourselves. We learned to take care of our things. Because if you went home without some of your things, you would go back to school to look for them. Nowadays, I know because I have children. Nowadays, children come home and the first thing you ask them, they don't have their pencil. You buy another pencil. Tomorrow they come, they don't have the exercise book. You buy an exercise book. And tomorrow they come, they don't have this or that. That was unheard of because you were supposed to take care of what you have. Inside the backpack tells us that we were taught to be responsible of what we do. Because I remember one day, I had been given a lift. There was a small van that used to pass through our home to go to the other side. There was an old man who used to keep these grade cows. He was the only person who kept hybrid cows. And that van would pass our home and it would go all the way to that person's place and drop the feeds for his cattle. So we would jump. When it passes, we would jump at the back of the van and off we go. So we would help to offload and then come back and get off at home and go home. One day I remember when we were going to that place, we went, but as we were coming back, we saw one of our discipline teachers at home. We didn't like that guy at all. In school, he was terror. So when we saw him, we hid inside the van. And when the van was just passing near him, we shouted blasphemous words at him. We actually abused him. We tried to change our voices and abused that man. And then we went home, jumped off, and went away. Little did we know that this man had a very interesting ability. Even though we disguised our voices, he caught the voices, and we saw him approaching home. We went and hid ourselves, but he approached home and he looked for our father. And he told him the story. We did not know what to do. So when my dad called us, we didn't know what to do. We were shaking. But what this taught us is that you may do what you want to do. You may misbehave the way you want to misbehave. There is something that comes when you are a group of sometimes foolish young people, thinking that what you do will not catch up with you. But this is the lesson I want to tell you. Whatever you do in your young age, whatever you do as you grow up will ultimately catch up with you, whether it is good or bad, but it has a tendency of catching up with you. Let us know this, that as we grow up, young people, as you grow up, the decisions you make innocently sometimes, the decisions you make in your foolishness sometimes, the decisions you make at that point in time, you never know, but they have an impact. They catch up with you. So we need to learn. This is an episode that I learned that whatever you do, that time, it can never run away from you. You must face the consequences one day, one time. So what am I saying? I am saying this: as we grow up, as young people, Sometimes we have those episodes of foolishness. We have those episodes of, I call them episodes of stupidity. They come. They are points of growing up. But as we grow up, remember, some of these things catch up with us. We need to know how to take care of ourselves every time, every moment of the way, because those things catch up with us. Yes, inside the backpack is something that we need to understand. It is unpacking our life dreams. It is unpacking our history. It is unpacking our youth. Thank you